Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Gundam Converge review. Here we're going to be taking a look at the Plus 03 set here. As you can see, it's in a different style box from the normal set. And it also doesn't feature any photographs of the kit. I guess there was no tape there actually to cut. So we have got to pop open the box to see what's actually in this set. Here's the lineup for Plus 03 we're going to be taking a look at today. We've got the Atlas Gundam, the Full Armor Hyoukshikikai, the Palace Athene, the Hilda, and then an option parts set which gives you option parts for all of the previously mentioned kits. So we'll get into all of this, starting off in order as always with the Atlas Gundam here. But real quick, if you guys weren't aware what the Plus line is, these are basically like a little bit larger ones that don't necessarily fit in your standard size restrictions for like just a regular Gundam Converge release. So if they're not quite big enough or popular enough to be standalone EX releases, the Converge EX line are for like the bigger size mobile armors and large size mobile suits, stuff like that. So these are kind of an in-between as far as their general size and popularity. The Atlas Gundam obviously has some pretty large accessories. The Gundam itself, not that big, but because it's got the big skis and everything, and as far as the accessories included with this, it looks like we've maybe only got the one submachine gun, but there's of course a lot of things that you can do with this with parts from the extra add-on set, which we can see over here. So those will be stuff that we'll see here in a little bit, but first just taking a look at the main Atlas Gundam figure here. Really cool box art here as always, featuring the rest of the mobile suits in the lineup this time around, and there's just another look there at the front. So even though this is a special set, should still include the gum as it is still a candy toy. But I don't know, maybe the Plus line does not include the gum. I don't remember now. The first and second set in the Plus line, maybe they also didn't include the gum. But alright, so we've got our figure, the skis, the base, which is clear in this case instead of black with the normal line. And then here's some of the other little bits there. Oh, there's the gum. Alright, here it is all put together. I gotta say, a little disappointed with the quality control on this one. Doesn't seem to be quite as good as some of the more recent sets we've taken a look at. If you take a look at the face, seems like the face parts just weren't glued on together properly. I could probably take those apart and then try to clean them up a little bit and glue them back together so that they're a little bit more closely fitting to where it's supposed to look, I think. But overall, the rest of the pre-painting all looks pretty good, pretty standard. You do have a little bit of more mold lines, it seems like, on this than some of the standard releases as well. But there's a ton of detail on there, so obviously going in and just the detail of painting some of this a little bit, filling in some of the panel lines there on all the details there on the submachine gun look really nice. Around here on the back, we've got even more painted parts, but again, just especially in all the white areas, filling in all the details with some panel lining and then just adding some waterside decals, stuff like that. That will all make it look really nice. And then you have your sub arms here for the skis. This part is kind of loose, so it's kind of falling out of there, which is gonna maybe be a problem. But you have a little bit of articulation here in that you can kind of rotate that and turn this side to side. You can rotate these parts of the skis around, but as it is kind of just in its base form here, it's kind of meant to just be like that, and all the articulation is basically for trying out some of the other forms that we can make with the extra set that we'll see here in just a little bit. So for now, let's go ahead and take a look at number 11 in the Plus line here, the Full Armor Hyoukshikikai. This is a very cool one. This will go really well with the multiple different versions of Hyakushiki that have been released in past Converge sets, and most notably that special gold set that came out, I believe that was last year or so. But as you can see, it's pretty loaded up, being of course the full armor version of the Hyoukshikikai. While the Hyoukshikikai I'm not a super big fan of because of the weird alien head, I think I'm really going to like this in Converge form. It looks really awesome, so let's go ahead and get it popped open here. Alright, there's everything right off the bat. That gold does look very nice, so let's go ahead and get this guy put together. Alright, and there it is. I gotta say, guys, I think this is definitely one of the best looking Converge figures out there. And I've seen a whole lot of them, but this one is really, really impressive. Just all the gold mixed with the blue and red and like gunmetal accents on there, the little bit of greens there for the cameras. It's such a really cool design that looks so good in like the Converge styling. It looks amazing. The Beam Smart Gun, it's a really cool design, a little bit lost just because it's so black and you kind of lose out a lot of the details. I think going in and do some detail painting on this will help to kind of bring out the cool features of this design because it is a really awesome gun. I am experiencing a little bit of looseness with this one as well, in that the hand seems to want to fall out of there kind of easily. But overall, I mean, it's a really good looking figure, all the details and everything. You do have the Hyoukshikikai logo printed there on like the front armor piece. And it looks really, really nice. So I don't know what else I can really say about that. This one as well, of course, would benefit from a little bit of panel lining just in all these gold areas. Just drop a little bit of black panel liner in there just to kind of sharpen up some of these details and everything. But it looks fantastic, and especially around here on the back, that backpack also looks really cool. So very awesome. But up next we have number 12, the Palace Athene, a very cool mobile suit design that I've always thought about getting the HG, but it always just looks, I don't know, I'm not too sure about it. Maybe someday, hopefully they'll make like a new RE100 kit or something like that. Would be awesome. I think this would be a really great candidate for an RE100 kit. Hopefully they revive that line at some point and maybe this will make an appearance. I don't think that it would get a master grade, unfortunately, but I think an RE100 kit would actually suit it really quite well. We'll see. Here we got the main body and a couple of parts there, some of the accessories, the backpack, shield, beam rifle kind of there in the stand. All right, and there it is. And I gotta say, this is another really great looking one. It's the really weird designs, the really strange and different mobile suit designs that end up looking the best in the Converge line, I feel like, just because when you shrink down the proportions, kind of play with the proportions to this kind of Converge style design, it really ends up making them look very cool. I don't know. But this one is just another great example of that. The colors with that super bright green and yellow, and then you have this nice little bit of like gunmetal there for like the hosing and the hands, and then for the barrels of the beam rifle there. I gotta say, it does feel a little bit empty without the missiles on the back. Fortunately, we have those in the expansion set here with this. Once again, those details, if you just go in and panel line this with some like brown panel liner, that will look really nice. The head with like the little bits of silver metallic pink there for the cameras and everything, the mono eye, and then around on some of these bits looks really nice. Even the back side of the shield really nicely detailed there, and the front as well, so it looks awesome. Up next then, the Hilda, one that some of you guys may not be too familiar with. This is available as a model kit actually, and the UC Hardgraph line model kits, so I don't know if some of you have built it. It's definitely more of a tank than a mobile suit, but it is kind of technically sort of a mobile suit, I suppose. It has arms that fold out of there, as you guys will see with the expansion set. Don't know if I've ever seen those like backhoe arms out of the back of that. I don't know if that's something that also exists in the model kit. I don't believe so. But it's got arms that pop out and hold like Zaku machine guns, so that'll be stuff that will be, again, from the expansion set. As you can see, kind of all these parts there in green are all for this kit. Or this figure, I should say. It's hard to break the habit of saying model kit, but let's go ahead and get it popped open here. See what it looks like. So it should be a pretty good size too, just considering the design, of course. And definitely a little bit different, kind of interesting too that it does still come with a display base, even though it's just kind of like a tank body on the ground. So that'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see how it fits on there. And here it is, a ton of detail on there. I wanted to show it to you guys off the base first, just show you the bottom. But here it is on the top. Strangely, there's this piece which I can't figure out where it's supposed to go. There's no instructions included, and maybe this is something to do with using the add-on set. This will fit into there somewhere, but as it is, at the moment, I can't figure out where that piece goes for the life of me. But there's a ton of detail on here, as you guys can see, that it almost sort of looks like dry brushed a little bit. This silver around here for the tank treads, that looks really good. But just a ton of detail that, I mean, if you wanted to go in and even like weather this up a little bit, it would look pretty awesome. But of course, this does fit here on the base. Well, it fits onto the peg. Obviously, it's not going to fit exactly cleanly onto the base because it's a little bit too long, but I gotta say, it does look very awesome. The colors on there, that little bit of metallic pink there for the mono eye on that, and this is gonna look really much better, I think, once we have this with the add-on set parts included. So let's go ahead and break that open. So this is definitely really great to have, especially for people who like the Converge sets, but they kind of wish that they were able to do more with them. I understand that sentiment, you know, where you get something and you just kind of open it up, set it on the shelf, and that's it, is maybe a little bit unfulfilling. They want to be able to do a little bit more with it. Having option parts like this, I guess, gives you a little bit more, well, options, of course. So we've got quite a lot of parts here for the Atlas and the Hilda there, especially all those, and then all these different option parts here for the Atlas, including the shield and the railgun. For the Hyoukshikikai, basically we have these little missile pods there, which it can hold on the hand. If you look at the design, I think it's basically meant to be these things here on the back of the arm. They fold forward and then you can hold them on the front, except they don't actually fold forward, so you have to use these option parts. And then for the Palace Athene, you have the missiles. I believe those are missiles that go around on its sort of like backpack, and that's really kind of going to be about it for those particular mobile suits. But again, it gives you some great options. So let's go ahead, pop it open and see what we got in here. And it looks like it's separated by mobile suits. So like there's the parts for the Atlas, there's the parts for the Palace Athene. Maybe not, I take that back. So here's your Hyoukshikikai parts kind of mixed in with some Atlas and some Hilda parts. And so yeah, it is kind of a little bit mixed, but somewhat organized. One of the easier ones to get out of the way first here is just the upgrade to the Palace Athene, just with these missiles here added onto the backpack. Obviously, it completes the look, and it definitely makes it much wider now too. It makes the whole figure itself look larger just with those added on there, but they look fantastic. Moving on to the Hyoukshikikai, basically you have to take the parts off the back of the arms and replace the hands, take those off as well, and then replace them with these little missile pods here. Now they're sort of supposed to be folded forward. They look really cool. You don't necessarily have to have them pointing forward, and you don't have to have both of them on there. Like for me, I kind of miss having the beam rifle there, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and prefer to keep the beam rifle here, and then just the missile pod folded down over the hand right there. Like that looks pretty cool, not necessarily holding it up like he's firing it, but just holding on to it. That looks pretty awesome. The Hilda, again, without instructions, was a little bit trickier to figure out how you had to take this part of the middle section of the treads off and then put it back on in like a different position, take this part off the top of that and move it up here onto this arm part. And then you have two options here for the crane bits on the top. You can either have it folded down like I have on this side, or you can have it up. You can have both up or both down. I just have one of each just to demonstrate to you guys how that'll look. But it does look pretty cool with that kind of folded up like that. It looks like it's sort of going in with all the weapons there. So you have two different versions of the Zaku machine gun there. And you replace the centerpiece with this piece there to have the body raised up to make room for the arms. You can sort of like articulate the arms a little bit, rotate them a little bit up or down as you like, but for the most part it's meant to be just basically like that. And then there's the Atlas, where we have multiple forms of how you can display this. Here's one example, riding the sled with the railgun in hand like that. So one of the pieces you have for it is actually an optional neck piece, which will allow you to have the head more looking up for when it's like in a pose like this. Otherwise it would just be facing down, and it still kind of is for the most part. The optional neck piece doesn't really give you much more of like a neck bend upwards, but it does help a little bit for doing poses like this. It looks pretty good. Another option here would be to simply have the Gundam standing on top of the sled like this, so you have a different arm piece for that. The angle is slightly different, and that will allow you to have it standing up, and then you can have, you know, one weapon in each hand, something like that if you prefer. I just kind of think it's a bit of a shame not to have this shield. I know having it like on the front does kind of block a lot of the view of the Gundam maybe, but I think I'm just going to prefer to keep the shield in hand. Let's see how that's going to look. But yeah, no, I think this is how I want to display it, with the railgun, which is a very cool weapon, and the shield, which is just so unique. The sled shield there. It's just unfortunate that like the skis there at the back are still just kind of loose there, so I'll have to be careful with those. Maybe just try to tighten up that joint there around at the back, but I think this is a good way to display it. But alright guys, so that's going to do it for this set. Aside from a couple of small quality control issues, overall a really awesome set, and it's really cool to have a bunch of option parts if that's what you're into. Honestly, the option parts do give you some nice options, of course, but it's not really the biggest thing for me. I would have kind of preferred just having an additional mobile suit in this set rather than the option parts, but what do you guys think? Let me know which one is your favorite from this set down in the comment section below. And just kind of your general thoughts about this set as a whole. What do you think about it? If you guys want to check out some different Gundam model kits and all the different other stuff from Bandai, you can check that out here at USA Gundam Store. The link will be down in the video description. As always, you guys can check that out. But that's going to do it for today, guys. So thank you so much for checking out the video. If you would all like to also like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. But until next time, I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.